Hello dear viewer, and welcome back to Romancing Saga Re-Universe with me, Jalinon. This is more of a review video now that I've spent a lot of time in the game, probably more time than I should have. But yeah, it does have a way of reminding you of your nostalgic past if you're, you know, an older gamer who's played with Super Nintendo games like Final Fantasy II in America, which is actually Final Fantasy IV. But yeah, you know, you can tap on characters, you can check out people from the Romancing Saga franchise, which, you know, I have no experience with, but I still enjoy the game. The music still reminds me of Final Fantasy, etc., etc. So, just some general tips for you guys. Every day, this refreshes, you can go to your jewel shop, and you'll get 6 free attempts to watch ads and get gems, or jewels. And you can get, at minimum, 10, and I think at most 300 from the roulette wheel. So that's a thing. So you generally want to do that. Sometimes the ads don't load, and it'll tell you, you know, oh, you can't do it at this time. So that's a thing. So far, I have not needed to expand my inventory at all. One thing to note, though, is the exchange here. If any of these events end, and you still have, like, the summoning medals or things, like the New Year's event, I can still go in here, even though this event is pretty much over, as far as I'm aware. And then, yeah, you can still go in here and exchange some of these mochi for things like instant expedition tickets. So we'll do that. Yoink. So that's one thing. Eggshell exchange, you know, we've got this thing going on. I'm trying to save up for the Hydra skin vest. But, yeah. Anyway, there's that. Another thing the game doesn't really tell you, but is pretty helpful for when you're farming, because farming is central to this game. It's all about patience and building up over time. You can go in here, click on your character list, and then in here, you can affect the cost of the moves you use by clicking Manage BP there. So I've awoken Drain Energy twice, and that is the maximum I can do. So originally it cost 7 BP, which is your in-battle battle points for using skills. And I've made it only cost 5. However, on full auto, when you go into combat, which we will do shortly, then it'll try to cast the costliest skill first, and then from there, it'll just keep going to the costliest you can afford to do. So generally, you'll cast your highest cost skill, and then your lowest cost skill multiple times. Now, you do have daily missions. We can claim all these. However, what's also nice is it'll let you know, oh hey, you're exceeding your inventory limit. So we actually want to go in, especially since today, the Forest of Mystery gives us double drops, which is perfect. That's why I've been saving up these tickets, because I did know that this can happen. We're going to be facing the Pyro Hydra. So before you face any boss, you can click that info tab. It lets you know what the recommended attack elements are. So the negatives mean it'll take more damage. The plus 50s and stuff mean that's what it resists. Ailment, so it basically can't be poisoned. It has a low chance of being blinded, which I think affects its hit chance. I'm still not sure about that. Can't be stunned, that's this blue one, that's really important. Can't be paralyzed, which is this one. Also super important, one of the best ailments you can get. Or affect somebody with, really. Still not sure what these are. This one is confusion. Oh, I didn't realize it could be confused. Not sure what you are. And I'm guessing that is instant death. This one is charm, which we just got a character, Rock Paquette, that can charm. Yeah, so this thing also has its 2 signature skills, Feral Pounce, which is a slashy attack. There are 3 main physical attacks, slashing, crushing, and piercing damage. Okay, and he's got Fire Breath, which should be more of a mental stat, I think. So anyway, my current team is these guys. Alkaiser, who is a self-healing, kind of off-tank damage dealer guy. He's got very high strength. I got pretty lucky rolling him. Sophia, who you get for free. She's basically the best character because she's useful in any party. And yeah, they were very generous with giving her away. And thankfully they were. I feel like the game's pretty fair. It's just, once again, a lot of time and energy spent on it. And if you don't have a very good phone battery, you may not want this game. Because, yeah, you will be farming a lot in order to build stats. One of the gimmicks of this game is you can slowly build up your stats, and the different character costumes or styles don't affect your base stats. They do have different modifiers of your stats, though. So usually SS styles are the best and have the better modifiers. They sometimes have better abilities and things as well. So if we go in here, Albert has Dare to Hope 2. When he falls in battle, he basically recovers all surviving allies' HP. It's about 200 to 300. It's pretty good. So that makes him a great tank. You put him out in front. You hope his stealth has a minimal effect where the other allies take some damage. Then he'll take the lion's share and then heal them back up. And then you can spend one healing in order to bring him up. And repeat. And he also has Fired Up, which makes him do more damage. He's actually a pretty good damage dealer as well. So I like having him on my team. Oh, yeah. So right now, I don't have a great water or ice-based attacker, other than Undine's S-style, which is pretty good, but she's a little slow and not as tanky right now. I've been working on that with one of the special events that's going on. Oh, before I forget. So once you're in here, you can go into your equipment, make sure everybody has all their stuff. I have evolved these equipments to the highest ability. Elemental weapons were just released, and basically they can affect characters' overall attacks and healing abilities and stuff, and so on and so forth. Let's see, we've got a robe on her, we've got good armor on him, and we've given him an Endurance Plus. So that should give this sword +4 endurance, whereas if I just used a normal Falcata, which I don't think I have one anymore, nope, it would basically just be a 0 on endurance as a stat. So that's almost like having 4 level ups right there. So it's pretty good to go for the plus weapons, but it takes a lot of farming to get them generally. As you can see, not many of the weapons here have the plus, just the endurance plus right there. And then we have Jenny, who can debuff people. She's very good at it. And then we have Cat, who's very good at moving first. She increases the amount of gold you get with this version of Cat. If I had another costume or style on, then she wouldn't have that ability. Okay. In addition, we've given everybody an inherited skill, so their other styles also have different abilities potentially, and you can use those on your other costumes. So you can only have one inherited skill. Submission is amazing because you just keep debuffing a boss's attack power or strength. And so we did that. And then with Sophia, Light Ball can blind, but for the boss right now we're going to actually take Skull Splitter. Maybe we can take down his intelligence a little bit with that. And then for Albert, his Knee Split can actually stun people. Jenny, I gave her Seismic Strike. That just is basically, you can hit multiple enemies with it and stun them. But I might change that to actually Aqua Luna. It's just, that's probably not as good, because we have Nutcracker, which is her already good high-cost skill. And I probably don't care too much about Aqua Luna. So, I'm actually going to switch that to Crushing Blow, because I think I've already got it to rank... No, it's not that one. This one, Returning Thrust. I've got it rank 99. So that's another thing that you can farm up, is the ranks of your skills. Your characters will, in combat, usually rank up their physical attacks, and they'll get stronger a little bit. And spells will not level up until the end of a combat. None of my characters currently have a spell like that, other than Healing Light on her, and I think it's already 99, because I've used her in practically every team. She's amazing. And I did awaken it to only cost 3 BP, which is good, because you always gain 3 BP in combat. Let's use this Exploration Ticket. Okay, and that's talking about one of the stats Love. It's kind of a hidden stat, but it can also affect how much you heal. So you want your healers to have a good amount of love. So we start with 10 BP in normal combat. Apparently there will be a mode which will increase that. But yeah, right now this is little boss ant. If you tap and hold, which they never really tell you in the tutorial, you can see all this information on it. Like, oh, what's it resistant to? Well, we want to beat it up with punches, or crushing damage, and maybe some ice damage, except we don't have that. It has no resistance to stuns or paralysis. Now, paralysis is better, because usually it lasts for 4 turns. It's basically a 4-turn stun. I don't think... Actually, no. None of my characters currently have paralysis available. We do have some stuns, though. I'm going to use submission, because that's going to decrease his strength if it hits, in general. It doesn't always. We are not going to use... Oh, did I not put Skull Splitter on? So apparently I didn't click confirm when I switched to Skull Splitter. Skull Splitter. So, yeah, we're not going to do that. I don't want to use up her BP right now, so I'll do that. We'll use Knee Split on Albert. He'll probably go after everybody else, because with this formation, he's actually slow, but he has increased defense, or endurance. I could use Gale Strike on her, make her a little bit faster. Yeah. So Gale Strike will increase her own agility, and Ginny's abilities, if I hover over here, you can check in combat. But yeah, with her Innervates, she has the ability to just land an attack and debuff opponents. So that's pretty good. I got pretty lucky getting her as well. And Cat should go first. So her Tumble ability, I've upgraded to only cost 3 BP instead of 4. So she can basically use it constantly. Yeah, it's really good. She didn't get the stun off. So unfortunately the ant gets to attack us. Our agility went up there. Okay, we decreased its strength, so it's not going to deal too much damage to us. Okay, so I think we've dealt enough damage that we can just basically do our normal attacks and then our tumbles and stuff. And if I didn't want to click all this, or if I misclick something, you can click the back arrow on the bottom left, or click all repeat, which we will do. There we go. And we got the stun off with its death. The ultimate stun! Now, if I just want to build up BP, I just click normal auto. I'm not going to worry about it too much with this round. But yeah, not always the best idea, but, you know, our characters are pretty farmed up. They're pretty tough. Okay, Albert took a lot of damage there. Well, that's his job. He's a tank. Okay, let's use Pressure Point. Try and get through this guy a little bit faster. As you can see, we have a limit of 20 on our BP. We're fast approaching that. Do I want to heal anybody? We're about to face the boss. There are only 3 rounds normally. Nah, we'll just use Bone Crusher. It's a good attack. You try to stun, even though it's a not a great idea. Jenny, we want to get more BP. Cat, use your Tumble. Could have used Stun. I want to just practically crush this guy. But oh well. I mean, we just crushed it anyway. Alright, so here's the boss, Pyro Hydra. It's got some cool animations on it. We can tap and hold, in case we forgot all that information we looked at earlier. Now, another thing to notice is, okay, we've got all these skills and spells, and usually they don't have any abilities. Now, sometimes they have more skills and spells than were listed in the boss area at the beginning. Because, yeah, they only show you the top 2, generally. And they have to scream. So right now, we're going to do submission. We want to continuously debuff this guy. I do not have... Well, we'll go for Bone Crusher, because once again, we want to continuously debuff. Now, Doppelgangers will not deal as much damage as it should, because he's got resistance to our slashing damage there, which is why this looks blue, and... basically this thing, which is just, you know, buffing a character, does not look blue. So it's nice they have that in the UI. Let's go with Nutcracker, try to decrease its endurance and defense. And you could use submission. Let's use stun. So I just used Overdrive. The Overdrive ability is like a limit break in Final Fantasy. It will always make that person go first before the enemies, and it increases their attack power. So we dealt 4,000 with that. I'll try to get another stomp off without Overdrive. But as you saw, Jenny, who's stronger than Cat, only dealt 3,300 there. Okay. Owl Phoenix I could use, but this guy has, I think, some resistance to fire. No, I'm not. Oh, no. Yeah, he does. Wait, is Owl Phoenix? Oh, it's Sun, or whatever. So we could use that. But once again, if we hold here, we can see we've decreased his strength a little bit. Let's just keep decreasing it. You know, like you do. Yeah, we'll just keep doing that. So I could overdrive here with Albert. I'm actually going to save that. We'll knee split because it only costs 2, and we'll still gain 1 BP, since I've awoken this to only cost 2. That's a good thing. So we'll slowly gain BP basically there. We'll just normal attack with you. I don't have enough to stop again, but we can submission. We'll do that. So she should submission first. Okay. We got that. Alright, now we can get a little bit more of a combo with our overdrive. The more people you have use overdrive, it seems to impact the damage more, as far as I can tell. So yeah, you generally want a lot of people using overdrive at once if you can. That's one reason why you want everybody on the same page. So we're going to actually use Healing Light here, I think. Yeah. And then we'll use Doppelgangers. Yeah, we could use Gale Strike again, right? Does she need... She does not have her agility up anymore, so yes, we'll just Gale Strike. Why not? Okay, and then you, we want to save it for the submission. So, all the people with overdrive will go before our fastest character, Cat. Awesome. And if you use a normal attack in overdrive, it's actually a separate thing. It's usually not worth doing a normal attack in overdrive unless you're almost dead and you're just hoping you just need that one last hit before the end. And as you saw, Feral Pounce did very minimal damage to Albert there because we've been continuously decreasing this guy's strength. So even though it says small, I think it builds up just based on how things work so far. But I think you have to keep applying it because it will fade. We don't need to heal anybody. Let's just make this guy even weaker. We'll use our full slash, because why not? Okay, submission. Ooh. So now we rinse and repeat until this guy goes down. And if I want to, I can just full power on him. Just note they will not use overdrive when you're auto-attacking. That is one thing to keep in mind. Ooh, you took 0 damage. Nice. Yeah, that is a possibility. Usually very hard to do on bosses, unless you can continually apply the debuffs. Okay, we dodged that one hit with Jimmy. Yep. We're doing good, team. Just keep it up. But yeah, I did try full auto earlier today, and thankfully if you fail in the Forest of Mystery, and you get defeat at the end, it will basically refund the ticket that you spent, which is nice. Because you can only hold 10 of those. Right now we're getting double the rewards, so I do want to spend all my tickets eventually today, but you don't have to live through that, dear viewer. So we get 400 eggshells instead of 200 from level 10, and you have to unlock the further levels of this by beating, of course, level 1, then 2, 3, etc., etc. But I like this team in general. Cat could probably be replaced for somebody else, except those first 2 creatures that we face. So yes, we do want blunt damage, and martial artists are basically the best version of that. They're usually pretty fast, pretty strong, and they have good effects. Now, Treasure Cave is a daily thing. Or, I'm sorry, not Treasure Cave. That's one of the event things. Oops. Sorry, daily. The big treasure hunt is a daily thing. You want magic damage to face down the golden bombs there. Some of the best magic types are Rouge, that you can farm for. Takes forever. Probably at least 500 energy you're going to spend on that, which is about 5 days worth when you first start. Yeah. You can get stamina potions to help with that. Monsterfield Training Cave, the Monica they give you, which is free, is pretty good for that. She's kind of a off-tank, I guess you could say. She's good at guarding against damage and deflecting it, and she has piercing type damage, which is great against the boss. The boss isn't that difficult. You do probably want to use a formation called Rising Phoenix to help with your will stat. And then you do have these. Now these levels are probably the best for just straight up farming. Attributes and the ability to evolve your weapons and things. Now, as you see here, some of our characters have these little glowy effects. The little glowy effects tell you how likely it is for you to get a stat upgrade. So let's see if we can't find... Aha, so Ellen there, she's more likely to get stat upgrades than our other guys. She's not as strong. So we'll go with this team for now. I think we can do it with this team, just to show off. Okay, so we've got Katarina, we've got Ellen. Have full power auto. This is more of an agility formation. Probably not the best formation for this. Well, we'll just full power auto. Oh yeah, so as you can see, some of our guys have stealth, which means they're less likely to be attacked. Oh yeah, and we're doing fine on damage. That BP plus, Katarina has an ability which will help her gain BP. Alkaiser just gained BP and healed himself, which was unnecessary. He always heals when I don't need him to. Oh, Alkaiser. One fun thing to note is that the little comments in the loading screens can be helpful, because I didn't know that Alkaiser was red, because I have no familiarity with this franchise. So the character Red can actually use Alkaiser's abilities and vice versa in the inheritance screen. Oh, and there's paralysis. So here you go. So we got paralysis off. Recovers after some number of turns. Usually it's like 4. So you can't really stun the Dark Fairy, but you can paralyze him. So we'll just show that off. And that's one reason why Rouge is so good. His A version style has Shadow Chains, which you can upgrade to only cost 2 BP. That is probably one of the best skills you can get in the game, at least initially. When you're trying to get through the harder content, some of these guys can be paralyzed, and you may just have to try to get lucky with it. But Drain Energy is the other reason, and that keeps him alive, so that he can keep trying to paralyze people. It's fantastic. So we're just going to full power auto, get through this. Probably going to go down. Oh, we paralyzed again. It doesn't actually matter as far as I'm aware, but I think it refreshes the countdown. Okay, and right now we're getting a random combo. So the combos also increase your damage. I don't know what the trigger for that is, honestly. It seems to just kind of be random. There's not too much rhyme or reason to it. Just know that they're good, but they can also make you waste BP. Because if somebody would have died from, say, the first attack, it will force the rest of the attacks off. What's nice about that is it helps you rank up abilities. Because, you know, they're using the ability. What's bad is, oh hey, I'm trying to conserve my BP for the boss, and I just used that BP because I got into a combo. So sometimes you may want to try to be a little more careful with that, if you're not just farming over and over and over. Okay. Yeah, as you can tell, the sound effects are great, the music's great. There's the occasional curse word in the story mode that parents may want to worry about. There's also kind of some creepy characters, but they're usually presented as 2D sprites, so, you know, not too much of a big deal. Let's go into the story mode so I can show what I mean. So if we go to the main, we'll go to the beginning, you know, I don't want to spoil anything. We'll go to normal, and we can see story quest. These are little cutscenes. I believe I've already showed off part of it, so we'll go here. This is kind of the explanation for how you can get characters from different games in the franchise. And right now I have auto on, so it's just going to keep going, which is nice, but if I turn it off, you can do that in the middle of the cutscene. I can be like, okay. And then you can also reactivate auto. Stay sharp so that I won't have to. Oh, lighten up, that kind of pressure is just going to scare him. Etc., etc. So, here we are with our cutscene. And if you get tired of it and just want to keep farming, you can click skip in the top right. But I've enjoyed the cutscenes. It's not necessarily a great story, but it's fun enough, you know. So here we learn about the Graves, which is about kind of the memories of these other characters in the franchise, and that's how you're supposed to be able to find them, basically. Yeah. And graves are actually more like a giant tower that has different scenarios from these people's pasts and their memories, which is pretty cool. Now, as you go through the story mode, you'll unlock the harder difficulties. In general, the hard difficulties will let you farm for better stuff, like the ability to awaken your things with sand. And then these are enhancement materials. They're generally the best way to afford to enhance your weapons. But you can also use other weapons to do that. Now in very hard, that's where you're going to spend most of your time for stuff like farming these character shards and characters. So you can get SS Robin, who's another good piercing damage guy. But let me double check. I think it's in this one where we can get Rouge. Where do we get Rouge? Ah, here we go. So you can get Rouge here. He's been transformed into a shard since I've already unlocked him. But yeah, this is the best way to get Rouge. It's one of the best farming spots early game. And you face a little dragon dude at the end. The water dragon. Yep. And you can get quite a few weapons there. So that can be nice when you're first starting out. And yeah. And very hard you have the higher quality weapon more likely to drop. So in general, if you're looking for weapons, you want to get to very hard because they're just straight up better weapons. Now, one other thing to note about enhancing and evolving weapons. Let's go in here to the forge. Yep. Alright, so if we go all the way to the bottom, we've got our A weapons because I've gotten rid of all my B. I don't need them anymore. But just as an example, this thing has 14 weapon power. It has those stats right there. Whereas the double knuckles have these stats and that weapon power. So basically, not all weapons in that class are of the same quality. And as you go through the game, you will probably see things like, let me double check, I think we've got, yeah, these hammers, right? So this hammer has 17 weapon power, 2 strength, 1 agility. Whereas this battle hammer, well, that's not a fair comparison yet. Did I get rid of all my normal battle hammers? Oops. So yeah, let's see. Let's check this agility warhammer out. Silver hammer. So 17 weapon power, 2 minus 2, 4. Versus agility battle hammer. 18 weapon power, 2 minus 2, and 3. So we get less agility on this battle hammer versus the silver hammer with the agility stat. So they're both getting plus 3 agility, but this one has plus 1 agility and less weapon power. So that means overall it's going to deal less damage, but be a little faster, you know. We also have these elemental weapons now. They can also get pluses, which is a weird thing, but hey, yeah, it's happening. So that you won't be able to unlock until I think the 7th part of the story quest. We can double check that. Okay, so I think it's part 7. Yeah, this is where they start to release the elemental weapons. And they do kind of cycle through the types of weapons and the gemstones that you can use to awaken things. So what I mean by that is, I think, okay, so down here's the black stone. Here should be not the black stone, okay. Okay, here's the other purple one. So in 2, 1, 2, very hard, you can get the purple. And then you can see it again up here in 7, 1, 2. So if you've gotten to a point where farming on that earlier level just doesn't even matter to you anymore, you can use this one now. It costs probably more stamina, but hey, you also get other drops, like the armor enhancement and the gear enhancement. So yeah. And once again, you can check, okay, does it look like my characters will have a decent chance of surviving this or not? Usually, if they are looking like Ellen on the left here, with that kind of rainbow streakiness, they're probably not going to survive on full auto. They will probably need you to help. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Alright. But yeah, as you go to the forge, let's see, is there anything I need to enhance right now? Not really. I got everybody pretty well kitted up right now. Do I need anything? Maybe another dark staff. You know what? Yeah, so we'll do this. So this is a dark runic staff. It does 1616 right now. We'll go to our enhancement materials. These all use weapon materials. We can click auto select, and it'll try to choose what it thinks is the best. Now if I go to weapons and click auto select, then enhance, still doesn't matter. Still thinks that's the best idea. However, one thing to note is that if you do want to save your materials, other staves will give 1.5 times the XP for the same type of weapon. And do I have? Yes, I do. Okay. So, if you want to try to calculate stuff out, we'll do this. Because the A level staff is just not as good as our S. And as you can see, as we level up our staff, the weapon stats will also change. Okay, and unfortunately this is going to cost a lot more money, since I'm using more materials to try to do this. Money right now is not a problem for me, though. Whereas the enhancement materials are more of a problem. So we'll do this. It'll let you see, okay, use all this stuff. It's like, yep. Okay. So we've got that. Now we can evolve it, and we'll use these staff stones. So the tri-glow stones are useful for everything, and then we have the staff glow stones. So we'll evolve that. The requirements for evolving will increase as we go to each level. So evolution complete. Now you notice we've actually lost attack power. So that's important to note. However, the base is higher than it was. So if we enhance it again, let's see, we'll get that, and then I can go back down, kind of playing a little bit of Tetris with this. We'll do that. Okay, so then we'll be at 22 instead of 20 as our maximum. So that's not the worst. We'll do that. Okay. And then we could evolve again, but then it'd go down to 20. So I don't necessarily want to do that right now, nor use all those abilities on that. Oh wait, I should have upgraded my fork, my military fork. Oh well, we'll worry about that later. So, yes. Now another thing that is important is you can go to the dojo. Once you unlock training, you should use your gems on training and summoning characters pretty much only. So you unlock these little dummies, and every 5 hours, an SS character will unlock a shard, which will allow you to unlock their level cap as a costume or style. So right now, as an example, I've got 38 owned pieces of Sophia. We need 50 to unlock the next level, or level 45 out of 50 for this style. We'll consume 12 of our just kind of general gold pieces. We'll go ahead and do that. It is pretty costly, but yeah, I'll do it for you, dear viewer. I'll do it for you. So we'll do that. Bam. Alright. And now, as that style increases, we also get to go back to here. And if we don't have the experience to level up the style, then we wouldn't be able to level it up. However, as you can see, I've used her a lot. And now our modifiers will increase, so she'll be stronger. And then if we go to style details, so when you're in this screen, click that style level. That little arrow will show you at what levels you can unlock things like different stats. The 3 abilities are unlocked by reaching level 30, so level 1. Then, let's see, ability 2 is level 10, and level 30 is the 3rd ability. So those are pretty important. And then level 42, because as you master styles, quote unquote, you help everybody else's style in the same type of attack to deal more damage and to get better benefits from overdrive. So let's go to Albert. Maybe we'll see something there. No, but you see his strength and will are pretty high as modifiers. So is his endurance. So pretty decent. This is the Christmas Albert. Okay, but yeah, anybody else? We'll help Charles here. Let's see. So this is what we get. All attributes +1. It's pretty good. Tap to continue. So master level. So all spear wielders right now, we need 3 more spear wielders to reach a master level. This will reach master level 16 then, and they'll get benefits. And that is why this is a gacha game. Okay. We'll help this guy reach level 30. He'll get his last ability unlocked. Weak point focus. Weak attacks. Damage increases. Medium effect. So there's that. Okay, then. Anything else that's really important? Let's see. Every day you get the free daily summon. Once they have special events and things, they will generally add people to this platinum summon. And right now I don't have the 1SS guaranteed ticket, but I do have the platinum summon tickets. I'm saving that though for Rock Bouquet, or Rock Bouquet, however you say that. I'd say Rock Bouquet probably. And once she's done with this, she should show up on the platinum summoning banner, and that's when I'll try to use tickets to get her. And then this is from the Spiral Corridor. So you can get to the Spiral Corridor by going to your quests. Yoink. Then we go to Challenge, Spiral Corridor. We have a couple days left in this, but I've already beaten all of these, so I don't think I can get anything else from it until it resets. And then completing every floor will give you gems, tickets, and an item. So yeah, and you can click details if you're ever stuck on what stuff does. So in general, I think this is a very fair game, but it requires a lot of grinding. Right now there's the Seeker's Path. They were kind enough to give everybody a ton of stamina potions. So let's go... Who did I want to... think... Aha. This was what I was doing. So I've been farming stats by doing this. They've made it only cost 5 to go into here. And what I've been doing is using stamina potions to go above my stamina limit, because I just keep farming over and over and over again on this to get a bunch of stats. And these guys only have, I think, 5,000 health each at this highest level. So right now my 3 casters are fast enough to generally not die before they can cast. And then we can kind of help these guys level up. But yeah, when I can't fall asleep very easily, then this is kind of helpful, because you just kind of settle into a rhythm. And it kind of helps me relax, at least. Fall asleep. But yeah, it has required clicking this button over and over again. So yeah, I would say if you are trying to gain power quickly in this game, think twice. Think twice. This game is not for people who want instant progress. I would say it is fair. You basically will always be able to work towards getting stats on your characters. It's just sometimes those characters may not have the right resistances you want, or the right abilities you want, etc., etc. But yeah, generally they can get strong enough that the content won't matter. It's just going to take you forever to get them strong, except for events like these. And even then, I think I've been doing this for 4 days, pretty much non-stop. So this is kind of the one thing I've been doing in this game when I have nothing else to do. Or, you know, I'm like reading or something, and then I'll click the rematch button periodically. So yeah. There you go. Romancing Saga Re-Universe in a nutshell. I'd say, you know, you don't necessarily need to spend money on it. It is pretty fair for even free players. And, you know, they know that if you really care, you're going to watch those ads, so you'll get them some money anyway. And they deserve money because they made a good game. But yeah, there are some UI things I wish they would make better, such as when you do go into the reward screen from any of the events, you can't necessarily see how many of an item you already have, or the list of items you already have. So you'd have to leave and go to the forge or to your party screen to see kind of which items you've already got and how many of them. So for the gems, you generally need 20 of those stones and 10 of the sand to awaken somebody's skill to make it cost less. And when you can't really check how many you've got, and you kind of just have to keep a count in your head, it's a little annoying. And it feels like something that could be a pretty easy fix, especially since this game is all about farming, you know. And it's been out, I think, for a couple of years in Japan. So they just had their global release this year, which is why they had the Christmas event in the summer. And yeah, you know, we'll see how things go, but in general, I've enjoyed it because I enjoy the music and the sound effects, and I don't necessarily need to think about it once I get my character strong enough. But if I do want to think about it, I can try the harder challenges. They usually have some giant boss type creature in an attack. So right now it's Dan Tog attacks. So the 7 heroes are kind of attacking, and you can fight them off and gain some of their little style shards and things. It's actually kind of how you get Rock Bouquet, except Rock Bouquet, however you say that. And yeah, she's got her own little tower event right now. So that's one reason I am building up stats. Well, yeah, it's a slow process, but it seems fair. That's kind of how I'd overall rate Romancing Saga Re. And if you like the music, or you have nostalgia, and you just kind of want to occasionally boot this thing up and just listen to this beautiful victory music, then yeah, I recommend it to people who enjoy that. And as you can see, we got an attribute up there, and it's just plus 1 HP. And she has a lot of other stats that we care about as well, so yeah. And she's supposedly, you know, one of the easier people to level up right now, because she's lower level than this stage. Or, I guess not really levels, it's stats, attribute up, whatever you want to call it. Now, another great channel to check out is SureBR Mobile. He does a lot of videos on Romancing Saga Re-Universe, and he also does Tales of Cristoria, I think. I haven't noticed him really cursing, so I don't think you need to worry about that as much. I'm not entirely certain. But yeah, you know. So Sure, spelled S-C-H-E-R, capital B, capital R, Mobile. And I found him helpful. There are other wikis online as well, since this has been for a while in Japan. There's a lot of good information on this game. That's how I figured out some of this other stuff, other than Sure. Sure is great. That's how I learned about the manage your BP for awakened skills. But yeah. I hope you've enjoyed this video, dear viewer. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to see more iOS gaming videos. Comment below on what character you think is the coolest in this game. And I hope you have a great day.